breaking big news for VHV engines. So there's been the question of shipping to Hawaii and Canada for some years now, right? And I kind of been lazy about doing that. I mean, I think I've had 3 people from Hawaii ask to send out there, and I've had like 2 people from Canada ask to send out there, and I never really followed up with it because this, only one of those people seemed like he was really serious until last night. The one guy that seemed like he was seriously interested, but I didn't know how serious he was about buying anything, so that's why I didn't really push for it. Guys, I get questions all the time. 90% of the people who come to ask me about prices and things like that are window shoppers. So that's why I tend to get frustrated real quick, because if I haven't already covered that topic and I haven't already done it before, that means it's new territory. That means I gotta try and figure it out. And trying to figure it out for somebody who's not going to buy just it sucks because it's time consuming. Last night I went back and forth with somebody in Hawaii for I think maybe an hour or more, and also I finished up last night the head prices, which seems to be still confusing to some people. So I'm going to make a separate video on that, and I'm going to be putting things on the website, and because I know that pictures help. So anyway. Here's the situation, right? I have a FedEx account, and I've had one for the majority of the year now, and but I never really put my account online, so I don't really know what my shipping rates are, because when you go to FedEx, when I take my stuff to FedEx, they don't give me my discounted rates. They give me the actual rate. So then I have to like kind of do a little guesstimation based on the stuff I've already shipped before to see, to kind of figure out what I'm actually going to be paying. But now I have a pretty close to an exact estimation of how much I'm going to pay, because I didn't put the package dimensions in, but the weight is in, and just off weight alone, it's showing me some rates. So last night I kind of did like a rough estimation to Hawaii, and I think it was around, like, depending on what date you ship, I did like an estimation of based on a head I sold yesterday. The K-Series head I sold was Bear. I think Bear was like 25 pounds. So I used that as a kind of guess, and I just added a little bit of weight, and it was like around 225, 230. I went ahead and weighed my complete K20 head over here just now, and the cams are a lot heavier than I realized. It literally doubled the weight. So it put it up to 54 pounds, or 54 and change. So doing the rates on that, it's a little bit higher than what I quoted the guy, but it's still overall not high enough for me to be like, I'm taking a big L on it. And I realize this is also the cost of doing business. Every time that I'm doing something new, doing something I haven't done before, I'm figuring out the hard way sometimes, like where I got to ship things. Like when I started shipping a lot in the beginning, I used to just, give an estimation, and then I would take an L on the shipping. There were several times in the beginning of VHV Engines mass shipping expedition that I was losing money on shipping. And I wasn't, asking for more money after the fact, because that's just, again, the price of doing business. I made a quote, I was wrong, and I'll take the L, not the customer, because it shouldn't be for you guys to have to pay more when I was wrong. So eventually I got to a point where I was seeing a very similar price no matter where I was shipping in the States. So I was able to come up with a flat rate. That is how I came up with my flat rate of $150 for shipping a block and $100 for shipping a head. I realized that at those prices quoted, it's a fair price for shipping for those big ass heavy objects, and I'm never gonna take a loss on it. So that's how I came up with that flat rate. Now, I've never shipped anything over the ocean before, or across state, not state, but country lines. So when you're shipping to Canada, I found out that you have to ship freight. It's a freight shipping. They don't do regular ground for shipping out of the country, even if it's on the same goddamn continent. So going back and looking at it, it seems the rates I quoted was like $230 for the head to ship to Hawaii. It was a little bit, it winds up being a little bit more than that, but I'm okay with that. So I know that now I'm going to adjust for that. And so what I'm going to do is, I think that $250 will be a good shipping rate for a head to Hawaii. And because the guy already paid a guy that I spoke to from Hawaii already paid his deposit. And I'm going to ship, I would imagine, next weekend. So I'm gonna ship his head out, and once I would imagine that they might adjust the price a little bit once they get it there, and because I let them box it, Instapack and all that shit, so my price might go up a little bit. So there's a chance that it might be a little bit more, but I would imagine that 250 is gonna be pretty fucking ballpark for shipping a K series head, which is pretty beefy, pretty heavy. At 55 pounds, that's a pretty heavy head. So I went in and I replugged again for the block. I put it at 105 pounds because that's about average. I mean, I have a bunch of pictures of my engine blocks on the scales at FedEx, so I could always go back and look and check to be 100% sure. But I think a built K-Series is between 105 and 110 pounds. So looking at that, again, it looks like the rates are actually fucking hella expensive. So FedEx is actually giving me a pretty meaty discount there. I think the average rates was it for quick shipping, it's like $1,000, and my discounted rate's like $600, and then $700 for like a week, and I think they're estimating my cost at $430. But if also another reason, and I'm being transparent here, I'm not trying to lie to you guys, but another reason why I mark the shipping the way I do is because it's still work, guys. Like, I am somewhat of a mover shipper myself. Like, I have to still pick up my block, wrap it all up, get it prepared to move, load it up in the car, take it to FedEx, load it up there on the scales, and do all that shit. So that's labor, that takes time, and it takes effort, just like building the engine block does. So I count that in towards the shipping rate. Again, and this is also so that way I never take an L on the shipping. And it's not like I'm adding an extra 100 on top of what I'm being charged. I'm just adding a little bit to make sure I don't take a loss, and to cover the time that I'm spending doing this shit, because it is a mission. Even though I have a couple FedExes close to me, it's still a mission to do, because as long as the COVID hours are going on, I don't have a 24-hour spot, so I can't just go whenever I want. I have to make it by a certain time and date, and it has to be on the weekend, and Sundays are closed. So I have Saturday and Monday to do my shipping. So anyway, it's looking like there's 430. I haven't put in dimensions or anything like that. This is just a package based on weight alone. So I would imagine that, and then again, I have them boxed it. A wardrobe box and the Instapack, all that stuff costs money. I think it costs like a $25 to $30 charge, if not a little bit more. But I think it's well worth it, because as far as shipping goes, I've only ever had one case where I've had a box show up damaged and any of the packaging damaged, and I'm going to be following up with an insurance claim on that as well. And as far as the damage goes, it is superficial damage. The block is still going to be usable as it is, but I still feel like FedEx should compensate for that, because there's no reason for it to it should have been damaged if they were doing their job properly. My chair's slowly sinking. I'm sinking here. All right, so I didn't want this to be too long. This is mainly just to go to show that, guys, I am willing to ship to Hawaii. And now that I'm shipping to Hawaii, Canada shouldn't be a problem either, because now I can see my proper rates. I can just log in my account on FedEx and get a quick idea of how much it's going to cost to ship something there. So for you guys that are curious and want to know, I would have to have an address, or I would have to have a zip code for Canada to see what it is, but I would imagine it would be within the same ballpark of what it is right here. So yeah, and I guess if you guys from off the continent or whatever, out of the country, start to order more often, I could even call FedEx and nag them a little bit. It's like, hey, look, my business has expanded, and I'm doing all my business with you guys exclusively for the last half decade. Give me a bigger discount. And even the guys at FedEx, a supervisor there that I deal with on the regular, he said if I call back, there's a good chance that they'll give me a better rate. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, hopefully we'll get to the point where we're sending overseas. I'd like to get some, I might even play around with it and grab some zip codes, just go to the map and look at some zip codes, maybe like Australia, England, and shit like that, and see what the rates are looking like, to see about sending stuff over. I know that there's like CSS. That's something that a lot of guys overseas would like to play with that they don't really have. And I've been saying for the longest time that I'm going to stock up on CSS blocks. That is 100% a fact. This is going to happen. Like, I get paid bi-weekly, and this last quarter year, we're going into the holidays. I have every single body in my family is a birthday is in December, and there's Christmas to think about. And my wife is going to be getting a new car. I need to get her a new car. So all this is taking from my factor of, spending the extra money on buying stuff to stock, but I very much want to. So hopefully the idea is that we can start small. Maybe not, I know that the heavier the package is, the more expensive it's going to get, even with the discount. So maybe I can start sending bare short blocks that are CSS overseas for those guys. For those of you guys that are, that can build your own stuff and just don't have access to CNC Works, or there's that. So, yeah, that's going to be it for now. I have more videos coming today. I do have one more that's kind of boring. It's trying to break down the pricing of the heads, because I know that when you put a whole bunch of text like this, it kind of still tends to confuse people. So I'm going to make a walkthrough guide for the pricing on K-Series stuff. I know I haven't done it for B&D, but B&D is nowhere near as complex, because it just isn't. So there's not as many different options there. But I will do a breakdown for the K-Series head at least, and also we're gonna throw out an H22 video later on, because I know that you guys want more content. I will address that when I make that video. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and peace. Oh, social media links are in the description down below. So anybody that's asking to get a hold of me, you want to contact good old Chris, you just got to go to the bottom of the video in the description. I usually have all my contacts there. Please don't fuck around with email, guys. If you're emailing me through the website, I check that maybe once a week. I think I have not deleted any emails. I think I have a grand total of 15 throughout since the time it's been created. I respond on social media pretty quickly. The only thing I friggin' ask you guys is, when you come to me, if you to get your best answer and quickest answer response, write out any fucking questions you have. Write it to the fullest extent. Not, hey, and then wait for a response and then start a fucking back and forth that might not go anywhere. Guys, time is money. So if I'm having like a fucking 20-minute conversation with you guys back and forth, and because you're asking me one little tidbit at a time, then I can't. I don't have a secretary. I don't have anybody that can filter out my conversations and answer basic questions and stuff like that. It has to be me. So anytime I'm stopping what I'm doing to talk to you guys, it takes away from anything else I have going on at the house, even if it's just being with my family, being with my kids and my wife. So please ask whatever question you have to the fullest, even if it's like you're sending me like a page-long stuff. So ask me everything you have to the fullest. As soon as I get some time, I'll sit down and address that, all right? But, avoid sending emails. Don't send emails. Hit social media. If you guys are dinosaurs and you don't want to do the emails, then I guess you just don't want to do business with VHP Engines, because I'm not going to go out of my way for emails right now. My clientele is super small. I do not have enough traffic coming through right now for me to justify worrying about checking emails on top of checking Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and all that shit, guys. So please come to one of those sources if you want to talk to me. If not, then I guess you're just going to have to wait until the day emails become a thing for me, and it's not anytime soon. So again, thanks for watching, and peace. I'll see you all later on this afternoon. Yeah.